All right, guys, so today I got a piece of 2x4 right here, and basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to create some sort of little thing to hold my arrows along the side of my bow. I know normally you cut a strip out, you know, and then you steam bend it to the shape you want it, but this board has all kinds of just crazy grain going on, a bunch of knots, and it just has a lot going on, so I just feel like I'll get better results if I'll just kind of carve it out. So that's the goal here. I'll show you a little bit of the process. All right, guys, so basically what I'm doing here is I'm just drilling a bunch of little holes. I mean, ideally, probably a jigsaw would have been best for this, but I don't have one, so this is what I'm doing. I'm just drilling a bunch of holes. And yeah, that's it. So I'm not going to show the whole process just to not waste so much of your time. But basically all I'm doing is I'm going around the edges and drilling a bunch of holes. And I'm basically just going to do that all the way through until I get all that, you know, carved out with a bunch of little holes. And then I'll chisel this out and I'll show you that part. We'll pick up there. All right. All right, guys, so as you can see there, I finally have all the little holes outlined. So now what we're going to do is we're going to try to kind of notch everything out. I know I said I was going to use a chisel, but I think I'm going to try to use this little saw here instead. And we're going to see how that works. And I'm going to try to show you the best I can how I'm going to plan on doing this. Let me see if it's going to work. I mean, it seems to be working pretty good. Yeah, pops off just like that. And so basically, I'm just going to do the same concept all the way through. And once I get that, I'll skip to there. Just save time. All right, guys, so now we've got to this part where we got everything cut out, and ideally maybe an angle grinder with like a sanding disc would be the fastest way to do this, or a belt sander or something like that. I know that would move a lot quicker, but I'm limited on what I got right now, so I'm just using a file. And I'm basically just going through and filing everything down, and yeah. All right, guys, so I'm pretty much done with the file and stuff. Pretty much just got everything I was gonna get, and so now that we got everything somewhat pretty smooth, we're gonna switch over to the orbital sander. We're gonna go to the orbital sander, and I got my little board right here, so I'm not gonna turn this on and start sanding. But basically, you know, you turn it on, and I'm gonna just go around and make everything super nice and smooth. And yeah, we'll pick up after I've got this all completely sanded down. All right, guys. So basically, what I did here was this little piece used to be kind of like this on my compound bow, and I took my saw. I basically just chopped this end off and chopped this end off, and was left with this. And then originally it had this little, you know, nut and screw, but I'm gonna replace it with just some random little screw that I found that'll pretty much just go right through that in order to keep pressure on this and keep it in place. And the screw still stick out enough to drill it onto here. I'm basically just gonna, I marked out a little hole right there where I'll be pre-drilling a hole, and then I'm gonna just screw this right onto there. And the same exact thing with this here, I'm gonna just screw it onto right there. And what I did here with my drill was I marked with a little piece of tape how long the little screw sticks out so that I don't over drill or under drill. And yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. I'll just show you how to do it. Basically, I'm just right there where I got my little mark. I'll put my little drill bit there and right about there. And we'll do the same thing to the other side. And you know, I'm going to show you. Go ahead and put this one in and show you what that's going to end up looking like. And so that would leave us with something along the lines of this. Try to take it easy so you don't break anything. Okay, looks like I didn't drill deep enough. So I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna drill a little deeper and then get that secured on there, but you get the idea. And basically same exact concept to this side, and then we'll pick up there. All right, guys, so now we're all caught up. We got everything all sanded, and we got these screwed on there, and that's what it's looking like. And I even went ahead and put my little signature right there, and so far that's what it's looking like. So I'm pretty happy with that. Now, I made some little cutouts, and what I plan to do is I'm basically just gonna put that like that, and then same cutout for the back. And then I made this little cutout, and it's going to go across the top like that. So I'm going to trace these onto some leather, and basically just, you know, make two of these, and one on this side, one on this side, stitch the seams, and then I'm going to just put a little bit of super glue or something, and slide it right on there, just to get a little bit of an appearance, I guess. And yeah, we'll pick up once we get those leather things cut out. Yes, sir. All right, guys, so now we got everything cut out. These are our cutouts. And basically what I'm doing is I take this little thing, which is a leather hole punch, and I basically just hammer a bunch of holes in it. And this is going to make the sewing process a lot easier. Or if you have access to a sewing machine, I'm sure your whole life would be a whole lot easier, but this is what I got. So this is what we use. And basically, I'm gonna just go around and put a bunch of holes, and just make sure the number of holes that you put are matched perfectly with this, or else you're gonna have one end sticking out farther than the other or something like that. So just make sure you have the same amount of holes and same spaces, but if you use something like this, it'll space them out for you. So that should make it a lot easier. Just make sure you have the same amount of holes in. I'm just gonna finish punching all the holes, and then we'll pick up there. All right, guys, so now we got all our holes punched in, and the next step is start sewing. And the way I'll be sewing this is just going over and under, basically. And yeah, that's just how I'll be doing it. I'll show you a little bit of of what it's looking like. My best tip here is leave your string really long, simply because, you know, it's better to have too much and have to go back and cut it than not enough and not know what to do since you don't have enough. You'll just have a whole lot of a cleaner look if you're prepared to leave it long. So leave your string long and be patient. This is very tedious and takes quite the time. So I'm going to keep on stitching, and then once I get this all stitched up, we'll pick up after that. All right. All right, guys, so there we have it. Everything's all stitched up and looking good. I'm happy with it, the way it came out. And so now, basically what I'll be doing is I'll be putting super glue all around this and then just slide this right over it, and it'll be looking something like that. That's the look I was going for. And then on the back side, you know, it'll look like that. So I'm actually a little short along here. Somewhere along the way, I didn't measure right. So whenever you get around to doing yours, I just suggest you measure twice and cut once. I'm yet to master that, but overall, it's going to stay. I'm not going to mess with it. I like it. It's going to go. And next up is trying to figure out what I'll do about here. I'm either going to do some Velcro straps or maybe some leather straps and be able to secure that around the bow that way. And well, so far that's what it's looking like, and I'm pretty happy. All right, guys, so we got a little cap all super glued down on there real good, and we're happy with it. Next up, I found this little rubber mat thing. It goes into my toolbox, and I'm sure you could get whatever you want to get, but all I did was I went ahead and cut out 2 little squares to roughly match this little thing, which is what's going to be, you know, pressed up against my bow. And basically, I just cut them out, and I'll be gluing them there like that. And that, really, the only reason why I did that is just so that my bow's not directly rubbing wood on wood. I'm sure it probably won't hurt anything, but whatever. We're just going to put a little extra rubber on there, and I'm just going to super glue it right on there. I'm a pretty big fan of the Gorilla Glue, the gel. I love this stuff. It works great. In some instances, I do prefer the liquid, but for the most part, I'm a pretty big fan of this stuff. So that's what I use the most. You know, just a little dab. This stuff goes a long ways. Really, that might be quite a bit, but whatever. And then we're just going to throw it on there. You gotta be quick. This stuff dries quick, very quick, but oh crap. Don't do what I just did. But yeah, there we go. That's it. And then I'll super glue the other one on and we'll pick up right there. All right, guys, so now that we got our little pads glued on there real good, I went ahead and cut out just two strips of leather. They're pretty much identical. And so I'm gonna give this a try. I'm basically just gonna set this down right there and kind of touch it on my bow and just spin it around a few times and then kind of tie it into itself, basically like that, and then kind of tie it off. I'm gonna give that a try. We're gonna see how that goes. If it works, we're keeping that idea. If it doesn't, I'll probably go tear up like an old bike tire or something, find some sort of yoga band or something to glue on there and then wrap around. If this don't do it, that should definitely do it. So we'll see how that goes. I'll keep you posted. Alrighty, guys, so there we have it. That's what it looks like on the actual bow. And so we're swapping out the old Reliable. This was actually my first archery kill I ever got, and I turned it up and turned it into a quiver, which it's been awesome. I love it. But basically, we're gonna swap it out for this puppy, and I guess it'll be going something like that. And it'll look like that. That's 4 arrows, but that's more than enough for what we're doing. So that's what that looks like there. There's that side view, and here's the, I guess, the back view or whatever. All right, guys, so there we go. This is it. We're out at the range, and that's what it's looking like right there.